Welcome to Tennis Talk New York from the 2014 New York Tennis Expo at the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, presented by Long Island and New York Tennis Magazine. This is the first of a three-part series. In this episode, you'll hear interviews from Jay Harris of Sportime, Saul Schwartz of Holabird Sports, Elliot Jenkins and David Berman from the Zogo Tennis app, Melissa Alpucci from Taste of Tennis, Del Caldwell of Tennis New York, and legendary tennis coach Nick Bolletieri. First up is Jay Harris, General Manager of Sportime Roslyn in Long Island.
How are you, Jay?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the Expo. What are your first impressions so far?
Well, again, I was here last year, and again, it looks like a packed event and a lot of excitement here. So, I'm just really lucky and happy to be here and be a part of it.
Now, you were a fantastic player in college. You played at University of Cincinnati, and you became a coach at Bowling Green and Brown Universities, where you won a combined 4 conference titles. And now you are the Director of Tennis and General Manager of Sportime Facilities. How did your college background, how does that currently influence your coaching style at the facilities?
Well, it's interesting. I definitely come from a much different background, having coached in college for 16 years and coaching at a high level. 2 of my players have gone on to be top 50 in the world on the ATP Tour. One of them made the quarterfinals of Wimbledon 2 years in a row in doubles. So coaching at that level kind of gives me a different perspective when I come to coach the younger kids and even the adults. I've really enjoyed it all. I've really enjoyed coaching kids that are really into growing, and it's just being involved in them at a different stage of their development. So.
Now, Sportime has several franchises throughout the New York City and Long Island area. Talk about some of the facilities you work at and some programs that they run this summer.
Yeah, it's actually a really exciting time to be a part of Sportime. And I've been here now with Sportime. I came down from Brown 3.5 years ago, and I think I'm definitely most excited about where we are as a developmental structure in terms of developing the games of junior players and adult players. But right now we've really kind of revamped a lot of our programming. We hired a special consultant this year. Who's a guy who's really the world-renowned consultant in terms of teaching 10 and under tennis kids. And so my background, going from coaching college tennis to now really kind of getting jazzed about what the progression of the younger kids are, it's really very interesting to me, and it's it's an exciting time to be a part of just an excellence, a level of excellence of our instruction of that stage of the game. So it's an exciting time for that. And then, of course, last year, we were able to bring out the John McEnroe Tennis Academy out to the island, out to Bethpage, and now it's at Roslyn as well. And I oversee that at Roslyn, and Mike Kossoff and I, oversee that at Bethpage as well. And so it's just really an exciting, anytime you can be a part of something that John is involved in is amazing. He was my idol growing up, so it's really cool to be able to work with him and see him work with kids and then work along with his ideals to have him provide the structure for us to work with kids is really a neat thing to be a part of.
What are some of or maybe the biggest difference between working with college students at the the college level, Division I, and working with 10-year-olds and kids that are just starting the game?
Well, as you can imagine, there's a lot of differences physically, mentally, emotionally, and so, one of my favorite things in working with younger kids is that they are, they're obviously a little more of a blank slate, and they have kind of less entitlement overall, really. They're still in the stage where they're building they're building everything from their strokes to they're building their work ethic. They're building the way that they view coming onto the tennis court. And so to be a part of kind of molding that and trying to get them to realize that, they can actually go out even at a young age and be a little bit of their own coach and build some of their own mentalities towards just really kind of strong practice ethics and That's one of the big differences. I mean, in some ways there's less roadblocks on working with younger kids. I mean, as a college coach, one of the great challenges was to take a kid that kind of, knew he was really, really good and to almost break him down a little bit to let him know that, hey, if you're going to play at this level, you actually got to work a lot harder. And that's a huge challenge and a different kind of challenge than taking a youngster that is just trying to figure out if he likes tennis or not, and to get him excited about not only the game, but maybe get him excited about how good he is and could become, and what that could mean to his future in terms of getting into a great college or maybe even going pro someday. So that's just a really cool difference, and both are exciting. I mean, I loved college coaching. It was one of the greatest jobs I think you can have, and now I just really love what I'm doing now. Being able to shape the lives of and ideals of youngsters. It's really great.
And Jay, could you describe some of your facilities, the kinds of courts you have, and the type of upcoming programs you have for the summer and beyond?
Yeah, thanks. So we have out of the island. I mean, the clubs that I'm really a part of closely are Roslyn, Syosset, and Bethpage, and we have, those are all indoor facilities, but we also have some outdoor. We have some agreements. We have some relationships with some outdoor facilities, so we're able to get outside and run some amazing summer camps, both inside and outside. And we have our summer camps structured really well in terms of having kind of different levels of summer camps, almost different types of summer camps based on kind of some different clubs. So if someone really is a high level, they can come in and do our John McEnroe camp, which is at Bethpage, where they go in and they're with the top kids. They're with the top John McEnroe instructors, and they're doing a great job with those top kids. We also have some great college players that come in and play with those great junior kids, so that makes it really unique. And then there are camps at Roslyn where we have some little pockets of top kids that work together in little tiny groups in some of the mornings, and then kind of go be a part of the John McEnroe group in the afternoons for some match play. So that's really different at Roslyn. And in the past, I know in that area, some of the other clubs have kind of owned the better kids, but now with myself and Jordy Dolberg, who is an All-American at Florida, as the tennis director at Roslyn, we really captured a lot of the top kids there at Roslyn as well, and we're working to build just, along with having the McEnroe Academy there during the year, working to build a stable of great kids, and because we're going to develop them as well as anyone really maybe in the country with our staff at Roslyn. So those two camps are really, really strong. And then Syosset has this amazing kind of multi-sport court, or multi-sport camp, which is really tennis and a lot of other sports. And that camp in the last 2 years has tripled. And it's because it's just an amazing camp, and it's a great facility there. It's a huge hard court, clay court, air-conditioned facility with a multi-sport court that has all kinds of use, and so we really position ourselves out here on the island to really be able to satisfy a lot of the different, maybe all the different needs for tennis playing juniors that want to go to a great camp.
Thanks, Jay. And this is your second year here at the Expo. It's our second year as well. What are you most looking forward to today, the rest of the day?
Well, I was most looking forward to be with you guys here, but now that we're almost done, I think I'm looking forward to sitting with Megan a little bit, of course, who wouldn't, and then I'm looking forward to sitting with Nick and a couple of the other college coaches to talk about something that's near and dear to me in my past experience, the college search process. It's something that I work with a lot of kids, and Sportime is now working with all of our juniors that are going through our program, with myself and a team of kind of experienced former college players and coaches. We're working to really help build a pathway so people kind of can navigate kind of a tough process of finding a school and finding the right college spot. And I'm looking forward to being a part of that again today.
Well, great. Thanks again, Jay. That's Jay Harris from Sportime. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks so much.
We are now joined by Saul Schwartz, the retail manager for Holabird Sports. Now, Saul, I'm familiar with Holabird because I used to buy my tennis sneakers in bulk. But why don't you tell us what you do and what kind of merchandise you guys sell?
I am the retail store manager and the buyer. And as far as what we sell virtually everything tennis you could possibly want, from rackets, strings, shoes, socks, stringing machines, court equipment, everything in that respect. We also, a large segment of our business now is geared towards the running industry, where we have hundreds of different models of shoes and things like that as well.
And I noticed you're also doing some editorial work. I saw some previews and chronicles of this year's French Open, and your social media department is growing. Can you touch on those a little bit?
Well, I don't know how their picks turned out because this tournament's been such a disaster as far as any of that goes. It's worse than an NCAA bracket. But we have a whole team that, as I told you, we reference as our Geek Squad, that does all of our website stuff, that as far as the pictures and descriptions and product information, as well as all of our Facebooking and Twittering and things like that. They're becoming much, much more proactive in basically nonstop information, trying to go out to the customer base. But that's what you really need these days to engage people into the industries.
Now I noticed in I read a nice article about Holabird. You guys are based in Baltimore, but in the wake of Hurricane Sandy, you guys did some fundraising initiatives, especially on Long Island, I believe. So if you could touch on what you did there and really what inspired you to give back that way.
Well, I think everybody outside of this region that would watch the news when the hurricane hit had to sit and wonder what the impact of the storm could have been. I mean, me sitting down in Baltimore, we caught kind of a tail end of it, and our beach resorts in Ocean City, Maryland, got hammered just where we were. So knowing the devastation that had to happen up here, it was amazing, what we were seeing just on TV. I had established a couple of relationships with some people from the tennis community up here. A lady named Elaine Rodriguez, who was one of them, and Emily Rubin, another. So I kind of caught wind about what their situation was at the time, and they're just telling me what the devastation was. So me being a tennis guy, first and foremost, my first thought goes to, this is a huge, huge tennis population. It's got to be devastated. So, what can possibly be done on that side once all the wreckage and everything starts to get sorted out and some people's lives start to get back to normal? What kind of an impact can we make directly into that area to help out what would be our tennis family, which was up here? So I had my, you want to call them boots on the ground, to try and find out some of the information from some of the clubs and people that had lost everything, whether it's teaching pros that lost their equipment, clubs that were obviously destroyed, people were tennis pros were out of work, kids that played every day lost their rackets and things like that. I just wanted to be able to do something that could make an impact to help provide some normalcy back to their lives, when they get back into their homes. I used the expression on another show at one time saying that, the USTA makes a very big deal out of who's going to be that next great American champion. And my thinking sitting there is maybe that next great American champion was that kid whose equipment got lost and they just never thought back about playing the game again. They went away. Maybe that one kid was the kid that now the sport is lost because nobody really paid attention to what ultimately is meaningless, but to some people it is everything. It's their lives.
And thank you for your volunteering up here. It's very kind. And I just want to get back to the event itself. What kind of merchandise do you have at your exhibition table today?
Basically, I wanted to just bring a representation of many of the manufacturers that we carry. We partnered up with Vocal Tennis here today. So Cliff Berman, our Vocal rep, was out on the prize court, which we had for the first 3 hours of the day, and had everybody hitting with the Vocal rackets to try and get their brand some exposure. It's a company that in the U.S. isn't as well known as they may be over in Europe, but they're well worthy of being noticed here. They make a great product. But other than that, we weren't here to sell anything. We were here more to just try and promote our brand as we are, promote the website, and let people communicate with something other than staring at their computer screen and saying that, or just being a 2-page ad that we were in the back of Tennis Magazine that most people knew.
And now, this is your second year up at the New York Tennis Expo?
Second year of the Expo, second year of us.
Well, what do you think about this year's exhibition? It's a little bigger, a couple more sponsors and things like that, more activities outside, inside. What do you think of the whole experience?
Well, I mean, an event like this is few and far between, which is why it's important to be here. Tennis needs more events like this. I mean, what David Sickman is doing in a community that is tennis hungry, it's critical. So much gets lost in our sport, that shouldn't be. The sport needs promotion. The stereotypes that tennis has, need to be torn down, and know that the sport can be played by anybody, anywhere. It's not an expensive sport to be able to pick up as a hobby. It should be more accessible, and people need to be made known that it's a friendly sport in a lot of aspects, and it's a great sport. And this event just shows that to no ends.
Once again, that's Saul Schwartz from Holabird Sports. Saul, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Next up is Elliot Jenkins and David Berman of the Zogo tennis app, who joined the show to talk to us a little bit about their upcoming launch date.
How are you? Fine, thank you.
I'm good, thanks for asking. So your app is it's launching in June. It's a very exciting app. It's great for a city, people who want to get together and play some tennis. Why don't you tell me about what the app will do when it's launched?
Sure. Yeah, we're just a week or so away from launch. It's all very exciting at the moment. We're really out to change the way that tennis works in New York, bring people together, connect people, make everything before you get on the court a lot easier. So whether that's organizing a game with your friends, or whether that's finding someone new who's suited to you based on skill, availability, and a bunch of other things, we want to make that a lot easier, and that's what the app is all about.
And David, where did you guys come up with the idea for this app?
So we actually came up with this idea over Thanksgiving. We were sitting one afternoon, being both British and French, all our American friends were having Thanksgiving, and we sat around thinking, right, we want to create a service that's going to help people. We both came from sports background, myself as a tennis player, Elliot as a squash player, and this idea just sort of came to us. And so once we started doing some research, we realized that nothing like this existed in any serious capacity. So the idea grew over the course of a couple months. We got feedback, and everyone was saying, how has this not been done before? And consequently, we proceeded into doing the app, and that's where we are today.
And Elliot, why don't you take me through some of the features of the app?
Sure. So basically, the way that's good to think about it is a little bit like Facebook for tennis. So you sign up, it's a completely free app. It'll be available on the App Store and Google Play and on our website, zogotennis.com. And you go up and you fill in your personal details. It's all very simple. Then you fill in your skill and your availability, roughly when you're free to play. And then you say where you play. So unlike some other ideas, our app is all about where you actually play tennis, your club. So it's your personal tennis network, where you can connect to everyone who plays at your club right off the bat as soon as you've signed up. So once you're in the app, you can organize a game in just a few taps. You go through, you give where you're going to play, the time, and then you can send out an invite to all of your friends, all of your regular tennis partners. They all receive a little notification on their phone, and they can accept in an instant. And as soon as one person accepts, it gets pulled back from everyone else. So it's much easier than messy emails or texting back and forth. You can send a message out to all of your tennis players, all of your tennis partners in just a few seconds and get a response really quickly. And the great thing as well is, and the really clever part of our app, is if you ever need someone to play with, that's if one of your friends is unavailable, gets injured, or you just want to play someone new, you can send out a Zogo match invitation. And this is our way of finding partners who are suited to you based on a bunch of different things, including your skill, availability, where you play. So instead of it being about zip codes, it's actually people who play at your club. And you can also look through your network at friends of friends. You can be recommended to play games with people who your friends know and have played before. So it's a really good way of building your tennis network and making sure that it's never hard to find a tennis game whenever you want to play. You can always find a partner with our app.
And David, you guys are now based in New York City. Did you have the city in mind when you came up with the app?
Well, we're really excited about launching in New York City. It happened to be a coincidence that we launched here and came up with the idea here. But as we were doing research, we realized that tennis, New York is actually one of the biggest cities in the world for tennis. There's over 600 public tennis courts here and tens of thousands of tennis players. You know, the USTA is located in New York, so we're really pleased about that. And it's just one of these cities that makes a lot of sense for tennis, and specifically for this idea. So we're very happy about that.
It's a great tennis community, and, you know, there are so many courts and so many people who would like to play tennis, and so many people have this problem of not being able to play a partner. And we want to fix that to really bring communities together so they can play tennis whenever they want. You know, there are so many public courts out there that people could get onto. We think tennis is a great sport, it's a great city. Anyone who wants to play should be able to, and our app is all about making that a bit easier.
Now, we're here live at the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, the site of the U.S. Open. Have either of you guys been to the U.S. Open before?
I have. I went to the last US Open. I saw Djokovic play and win someone, I think it was Wawrinka, pretty easily, beat him. Never been inside the halls like this, and it's amazing to see all the stalls here. It's a great event. It's been really great for us, just about to launch, to meet so many tennis players, so many people who love the idea, and so many other tennis companies and clubs with great presentations, great stalls. So it's been a really great event for us. We couldn't have imagined a better place to just launch our app.
And what other kind of activities are you looking forward to today? You know, there's all sorts of interactive features out on the grounds, and we just met the Islanders Ice Girls. They're very excited about the event as well. So what do you think, David?
Well, listen, I mean, our goal is to try and spread this idea to as many people as possible. So we're going to be going through the halls, checking out these activities, and just basically talking to as many tennis players as we can.
It's free for clubs, it's free for players. Our goal right now is just getting the word out. So it's great to talk to this many people who are coming through and stop by our stall and are interested in the idea, and it's great to tell them about it and see their reaction. And we've had a lot of great feedback so far, so it's really good.
And that's the Zogo tennis app. It is available when and where?
It'll be available in just a couple of weeks' time, middle of June. Go to the website, sign up, and we'll send you an email. It's www.zogo, that's Z-O-G-O, tennis.com.
That's Elliot, Jenkins, and David Berman with the Zogo tennis app, which launches later this month. We're very excited to have you guys here. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Welcome back to the 2014 New York Tennis Expo. I'm joined now by Melissa Alpucci. She's a communications associate with AYS Sports Marketing. How are you, Melissa?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So let's talk about AYS Sports Marketing. You guys have a lot of cool events, and one of the upcoming ones is called Taste of Tennis. So what is Taste of Tennis?
Well, Taste of Tennis is our biggest event. We do events all throughout the year, but this one is our biggest. So what it is, it's the Thursday before the U.S. Open starts. We pair New York's top chefs with tennis players, world's best tennis players, and they come together, they cook, they serve food to our guests at the W Hotel on Lexington Avenue in Midtown.
And is this the first year or the fourth year, or how many years have this gone on?
This is actually our 15th. So every year we make it bigger and better. And this year it's going to be so much bigger. We have Marimoto, who is going to be our headliner.
And which kinds of players have been involved with Taste of Tennis before? It sounds like you've had some of the top-ranked players join you for this event.
Yes, we had, actually Serena was our host last year. We've had Rafa Nadal, the Bryan brothers, Andy Roddick's come a few times, Marty Fish, Anna Ivanovic, Aga Radwanska. I mean, we get a pretty good amount of great players.
So it sounds like it's the pretty cool and hip place to be if you're a world-class tennis player as well. And then just a week later is the U.S. Open. So what do the players, how do they react at this event? It sounds like it's a fun thing for them to do before the U.S. Open starts.
Yeah, it's right before, so it's kind of the kickoff for them, and it's kind of, I guess you can say it's kind of like their party for the U.S. Open and how to get ready and prepare. Yeah, we've had so many players. They come, they walk the red carpet. Last year, along with everybody else, we've had Vika. So she was there last year. We had James Blake, and they just have so much fun. They really get involved. They're really good with all the guests. They love to cook, so it's a lot of fun for them, and it's kind of like a break for them.
And for the guests that attend, how does one get a ticket for that? Or is it open to the public, or who can go?
Anybody can go. The tickets are on our website, so if you just go to www.tasteoftennis.com, you can buy your tickets right from there. And it's open, it's general public. There's 2 tickets. You can get the general admission, and you can also get a VIP ticket. So there are different levels of tickets this year.
What does the VIP ticket entail?
There is a separate area on the first floor that is just for VIPs. So upstairs, it's a 2-floor event. So the general admission, you just have access to the ballroom, and that's where most of the chefs and players are. But the VIP is a separate area downstairs where it's not as crowded, and it's more VIP, and people can sit down and talk, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great event.
And speaking of fun events, what do you think of our 2014 New York Tennis Expo?
This is the first time I came, and I'm having a lot of fun. I've been talking to a lot of people and got to meet a lot of people. I mean, this is a tennis event, and I work in tennis. I've been in tennis, so I just feel very very comfortable, and it's a lot of fun. Everybody's very friendly, and it's a great event.
Well, thanks very much, Melissa, and thanks for your time. We hope you're enjoying yourself. And once again, that's Melissa Alpucci, a communications associate with AYS Sports Marketing, and they're putting on a great event called Taste of Tennis. That's August 21st at the West New York Hotel. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We are now joined by Dale Caldwell, the president of Tennis in New York Incorporated. How are you, Dale?
Doing quite well. Thank you very much.
So tell us a little bit about Tennis in New York.
Well, Tennis in New York is a nonprofit founded in the fall of 2012 to promote tennis in New York City. So we've worked very closely with New York Tennis Magazine and other organizations to really let people know about this great sport in the greatest city in the world.
And the courts are operated on the Upper West Side at Riverside Park?
Well, we've partnered with the Riverside Clay Tennis Association. Mark McIntyre, the executive director, is my business partner with Tennis in New York. Riverside Clay, if you don't know, are beautiful red clay courts on the Upper West Side. Really the largest group of red clay courts in the area. And so we came together to say, we need to do a pro tennis tournament in New York City, really the championship in New York City. So we started the New York Open at the West Side Tennis Club last year.
And when is the New York Open this year, and who will be playing?
The New York Open is always the July 4th weekend. So it's a pro tennis tournament. We have prize money, typically enough prize money to get everyone who's not playing Wimbledon. It's the same weekend as Wimbledon. And what we want to do is expose New Yorkers to local tennis and really crown a champion of New York City.
Now, those red clay courts up on the Upper West Side, those are pretty rare, aren't they?
Yeah, New York City really doesn't have many red clay courts. In fact, we've had a number of top players. Fernando Verdasco last year came and trained on the Riverside Clay courts to get ready for the French Open. So they're really high quality. Mark McIntyre and his team there has done an amazing job of making those high quality courts. They also have a concert series on Friday, Saturday nights, which is free. And it's one of those hidden secrets of New York that you can get, beautiful tennis and free concerts overlooking the Hudson.
And those courts are public. Anyone can sign up and get some court time.
They're public courts run by the Riverside the Riverside Park Association, and it's really it's an opportunity for folks to kind of play on a surface they don't normally get a chance to play on.
Do you think, or do you notice a spike during the French Open in players on the red courts up there?
Well, there's a spike, throughout tennis in New York City whenever you have a Grand Slam. People watch it on TV. They want to get out and duplicate those strokes. A lot of people don't know about the red clay courts, so they don't know necessarily to go there to duplicate the French Open surface. But it really does generate a lot more interest in tennis. Especially it's the time of year when the weather's getting better and people want to go outside, so you're just getting more people playing tennis.
Now, Dale, this is our second year at the Expo, and it's your second year as well?
Yeah, this is our second year. We were exhibitors last year. It was phenomenal last year. It's phenomenal this year. One of the things we have to do in tennis, I used to be on the board of the United States Tennis Association, that, when you talk to baby boomers, people over 50, they love tennis. They grew up with McEnroe and Connors and Borg. And so we need to start getting people under 40 to really fall in love with the sport. And groups like this Tennis Expo really get a broad range of people of all ages to really come and really realize how special tennis is.
On that note, what are you most excited about today at the Expo? What features and activities? We've got plenty of things, an activity zone, there's indoor and outdoor courts, all sorts of things going on.
Well, I'm here with my 9-year-old daughter, Ashley Caldwell, who's a tennis player. She's a little shy, but there are all sorts of things for young people. She's excited about the face painting right over there, so she's gonna do the face painting. But as you walk around the tables, really everything about tennis, the latest technology. There was somebody that had a device that goes in like a dampener that will give you the racket speed, so you can do that. The technology in tennis is amazing these days, and I think a lot of people don't know about it. So if you're out there, you should definitely plan to go to the Expo next year.
Well, thanks, Dale. That's Dale Caldwell. He is the president of Tennis in New York, Inc. Thanks for coming along.
Well, thanks for having me here, and good luck, and have a great day.
Thanks, Dale.
Great.
The final guest in our first segment was Nick Bolletieri, legendary tennis coach and founder of Nick Bolletieri Tennis Academy in Florida.
Nick, how are you today?
I'm well every single day. That's what life is about, waking up in the morning and say, I'm ready to go for it.
Well, that's great to hear, and we're very happy to have you. So let's go right back to 1978. That's the year you opened your Nick Bolletieri Tennis Academy in Bradenton, Florida. About 10 years later, it was purchased by IMG, and it's now the IMG Tennis Academy. And they saw it as a template for other sports, and now they have other sports facilities just like it. Where did you get the idea to have a residential tennis academy that also, teaches a high school curriculum?
Well, first of all, the academy was just sold now to Will Morris Emanuel, so that was done 2 weeks ago. I got the idea from really when I was in the paratroopers of putting people who feel they're the best and want to be the best, and they all volunteered. That's where I got the idea. Then I started summer camps. Vincent Barty helped me get started, and then I said, to heck with it. Let's put good players together that want to have one mission in mind, to be the best, and that's how it started.
One of the things listed under your name whenever there's a bio of you is that you coached 10 number one singles players in the world. Is there a shared trait that all of them had in common that just led them to excel in the sport, to reach the pinnacle of the sport?
The trait they all had is they wanted to be winners, and they were willing to pay the price, but also they surrounded themselves with a team that was very positive. I don't believe champions can make it on their own. They have to be surrounded by a team that all work towards the same mission, to be a winner. But remember, a winner is doing everything that you can do, and sometimes the winner doesn't come out in the winner's circle by the score. But if you leave everything on the field, as a famous coach, Vincent Barty, said, you're also a winner. And last, you refuse to lose. It's all about winning.
And how about one or two of those players? Do they have one unique trait that sticks out in your mind? You know, maybe a different personality type or someone who was really driven?
Well, they were all different. With Andre Agassi, you never know what was going to happen. It was like a time bomb. Monica Seles, everybody thought I was going to change her two-handeds on both sides. Jim Courier, they wanted me to change his backhand, but it made him just hit a serve and run around and do nothing else. Serena Williams, I was afraid to say anything. She popped me in the nose. You know, you go through them all. Venus was very, very graceful. Boris Becker was very, very disciplined. With Martina Hingis, I put the motivation back into her. With Jelena Jankovic, I had to put up with her beautiful mother. So they were all different. And that's what made it interesting for me, was the 10 number ones I work with, and Maria Sharapova always wanted to win. She refused to lose. So each one of them was an individual, and a successful educator or coach must understand their student per se and how you can get to them.
Now, Nick, a big honor is coming your way this July. You're being inducted into the International Hall of Fame. It's well-deserved. And what do you think about that? How does that make you feel?
Well, first of all, I'm a big dreamer, but this is even bigger than I dreamt. But the award will go in the name of Nick Bolletieri, but I've received this award in the names of all my friends, my people, my family, my coaches, and my staff who made that award possible. I could not have done it by myself.
And you also have a book coming out soon. I think you have some help in there. I think a foreword by Andre Agassi, or some really interesting bits in there. So why don't you give us a little taste of that?
Well, the book is here right at the Expo right now. It's called Bolletieri Changing the Game, and it tells how I came about from the day I was born. And I was born in a black and Italian neighborhood in North Harlem, New York, and what it did to be where I am today, including the many failures that I had, but those failures made me get up and do it a little better. And you can buy the book through Nick Bolletieri, tennis.com, and it's a very exciting book because it tells you what it takes to be a winner in life as well as on the tennis court.
And Nick, this is our second year here. This is the second year of the New York Tennis Expo. It's a really great event. A lot of grassroots companies are here promoting their clubs and new products. What do you think about the event and how that it's held here at the U.S. Open site?
Well, first of all, being held at the USO site, it really makes it a success. It's a success by saying to the children, let's go out to the U.S. Open site. Also, the venue guarantees the program rain or shine, and also the speakers and everybody that they have. It's a great venue, including the tournaments for some of those, but not as good as being able to play with the champions. So the venue, to me, is fantastic, and I think it's going to get bigger and bigger each year.
Once again, that was Nick Bolletieri, the fantastic tennis coach. Nick, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you very much, and look forward to doing it again next year, and hopefully maybe if you're at the Open. Thanks, everybody. Go out and play the game, and remember, don't think you can do it, but say you can do it.
Thanks, Nick.
And that concludes part one of our three-part series from the 2014 New York Tennis Expo.